I'm James Coy from Old School Wheel. Thanks for visiting with us again today. Today we're going to make an instructional video on how to measure accurately backspacing on a custom wheel. Backspacing is one of the old terms that is used with the older generations on hot rods, muscle cars, and especially on hot rod and muscle car wheels. Backspacing and offset are technically the same thing. They're done in a different manner, but today we want to focus in just on backspacing. On Coy's wheels, on intro wheels, and Krager wheels, and the wheels that Old School Wheel sells, we always talk in backspacing. So we want to help you understand today exactly what a backspacing is and how we measure it. Before we go to the backspacing, we want to help everybody understand how the dimensions of a wheel actually work. In front of me here I have an 18x7 Coy's C5 wheel. This wheel right here is an 18-inch in diameter and 7 inches wide. Now what does that mean? A lot of times we'll measure the face of a wheel, even though it says it's 18, it's actually larger. That diameter and those measurements are actually made from the point where the tire and the wheel connect. So if we could take a measurement of the diameter of the wheel from this point where the tire sits, we'd get 18 inches across. Likewise, when we're measuring the width, we would measure from the point where the tire sits to the point where the tire sits. So the 7-inch actually refers to the distance in between the wheel lip and the wheel lip. Again, so if we could measure here today, if we could measure from inside to inside, we'd come up with 7 inches. That 7 inches gives us the exact width of the inner lip to inner lip. Now, when we're speaking backspacings, we always speak the entire width of a wheel. So to take into consideration here, all 7-inch wheels actually measure a little bit more than 7 inches. They actually measure from edge to edge about 8 inches. Okay? And an 8-inch wheel will also measure about 9 inches. A 9-inch wheel, 10-inch. A 10-inch wheel, 11. So when we're taking into consideration how wide of a wheel we want to put on the car, we want to understand that a 7-inch wheel actually measures 8 inches edge to edge. Okay? So that's the most important part about doing backspacing. Now, I have here a wheel that's flipped upside down. When we want to measure backspacing, we want to take our wheel, we want to flip it upside down because we're going to measure the spacing in the back. Now, backspacing is measured in a very simple form. We have here what's called the mounting surface, the surface that actually bolts to the rear end of our car or to the front of our car. This is the surface from which we're going to measure to the very back edge of the wheel to get our backspacing. The way that I like to do it is I like to set a straight edge on the back of the wheel that's face down. Now, if you have a straight edge that's long enough, in this case there's no tire on the wheel, this works perfectly because it doesn't get hit by anything or obstructed by anything, so you can just lay it face down. If you have a wheel and tire, you might have to have a straight edge that's the exact width or diameter of the wheel. Now in this case we have the straight edge laying down. To do the backspacing is very simple. We take a ruler or a straight edge, and what we're going to do is we're going to put that ruler or tape all the way down to this back, turn it this way, all the way down to this mounting surface and measure up to the very edge of that straight edge. Now in this case we have 5.5 inches. Okay, so this is an 18x9 wheel that truly measures 10 inches wide. So when we measure that backspacing from the mounting surface to the edge of this straight edge, we get 5.5 inches. Okay, now the reason why we want to do the backspacing, the reason why we measure it, is now that we know on a certain wheel, on this wheel for example, the C67 wheel that's face down here, it's actually a 9-inch wheel that measures 10 inches wide. So we know that from the mounting surface back, 5.5 inches goes towards the inside of our car. If we subtract the 5.5 inches off the 10-inch, we know that there's 4.5 forward. So backspacing helps us understand how much wheel goes in on a vehicle and how much wheel goes out. Okay, so using this example of this C67 wheel here, it's a 9-inch wheel from inside to inside, which measures 10 inches edge to edge. With the measurement of a 5.5-inch backspacing, we have 5.5 from the mounting surface towards the back lip. We subtract that from the 10-inch and we know that we have 4.5 forward. So again, this is something that's very simple. We like to use backspacing opposed to millimeters because there's backspacing opposed to offset because there's no converting There's no math involved. It's very simple. And again, to be able to do it, all you need really is a tape measure and a straight edge, and make that really quick measurement, subtract it from the total width, and you know how much wheel goes in on your vehicle and how much wheel goes out. And this is one of the most critical measurements you can make whenever selecting custom wheels. Old School Wheel guarantees fitment on everything that we sell, given that we're given the correct backspacing, the correct measurements that we need. And also we have a database full of backspacings and offset that fits your vehicles. So if you ever have any questions, you can always feel free to call us or visit us on coyswheel.com, and we're here to help you. But thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, please give our salesman a call.